Hey everybody, so welcome back. Today I want to talk about my latest newsletter, which the first part talks about the Ukraine 28-point peace plan that has been discussed, possibly changed. And the second part I want to talk about the Trump plan to use $50 billion to give people money in their health savings accounts. The peace plan from the Trump administration to end the war in Ukraine is pretty much a 28-point framework. And part of that framework means that Ukraine will have to give up land that it pretty much was defending and that Russia didn't even take. And also, it would allow the frozen assets from Russia to be used by the U.S. for development in Ukraine, but also to reap the profits from that development. And that's where it gets a little bit murky. We expect a lot of media chatter over the next few days about the U.S. turning back on its rules-based international order, and that's fair to come from that perspective. But here's the thing. Did the U.S. really float its own rules, or has it just marketed moralistic intent while selectively enforcing power? The U.S.-led post-Cold War order did do some good. I mean, again, we talk a lot about the AIDS money that came out of the Bush administration for African nations that unfortunately now has been cut off due to the Doge cuts. But it also was full of contradictions. It was propping up dictators while preaching democracy. It was waging preemptive wars while claiming to defend sovereignty. And in many ways, Trump's approach isn't a rupture from that legacy. It's kind of the logical end to it. Let's contrast this moment with the Marshall Plan. That was realism. Yes, it was. I know there's a lot of idealistic history about the Marshall Plan, but it was realism because it was also in the interest of the American commercial and business elites and functions that were to be propped up by the recreation of markets in Europe and Asia. Now what is going on is Ukraine is being treated like a broken asset ripe for development. And Trump's peace plan is part of a cash grab, part global influencer meetup. And you have Kushner and company using the oil prices from OPEC Plus, private capital, and a little bit of soft blackmail to push deals. Central and Eastern European countries like Poland and the Baltics are taking the opposite approach. They're treating Ukraine's reconstruction as a shared historical responsibility and not some tech bro venture capital fund. The new form of diplomacy blends oil barrels and server farms. Enter the tech industrial complex, which is a cozy alignment between big tech, private wealth, and state power. These are the new puppet masters. You can see it in the Ukraine negotiations. Qatar's presence wasn't just symbolic, but it reflects the transnational, transactional logic replacing democratic consultation. And it's not just about Ukraine either. It's about who controls the infrastructure, AI pipelines, and surveillance networks, often with little oversight or democratic input. Trump's foreign policy is ultra realistic. It rewards strength, wealth, and loyalty, but the twist is it's not even state centric. It's privatized, influencer based, and ego driven. The goal isn't global stability, it's strategic ambiguity and deal making in smoky rooms. This doesn't just undermine democratic institutions, mind you. It reshapes them into tools for profit and spectacle. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons we're getting from this time, which is that spectacle and shortened attention spans mean more in political victory than actual large-scale ideological beliefs, as in global international order, rules-based order, liberal democracy. And that is, I think, in my opinion, a departure from where we have come from in the world that we enjoyed growing up, me as a millennial. And that might be one of the dark outcomes of this growing internet age, where people's ability to comprehend and take in power and what it means when we are considering how deals are being made, how we elect elected officials, or how much power is being consolidated in wealthy interests. Our ability to even keep up with so many changes has been crippled. Let's not get lost in the myth about what's happening. It's not an anomaly. It's the result of decades of liberal order architects ignoring their own contradictions. And that's where the sad part is. The peace plan isn't a break. It's a climax. It tells us what happens when you hollow out values, turn diplomacy into branding, and let oil and data become the new weapons of war. But there are countercurrents, like the leadership from Central and Eastern Europe, or the EU's resistance to tech monopolies. They may not dominate the headlines, but they're shaping what comes next. So thank you guys for listening. If you want to hear the next part, stick around. And just a side note too, this isn't about being pro or anti-Trump. It's about understanding the deeper currents shaping the world, and maybe, just maybe, finding better frameworks than puppet strings and pipelines. This next part is for all the paid subscribers, and Horton wanted to say hi, so I'm gonna let him say hi to people. But If you aren't a paid subscriber, then come on over and we're going to talk about Trump's quote unquote health plan and black maternal health. It's time to eat.